Welcome to Ask the Druids. I'm Catherine, and I'm a channeler of the Druid consciousness, allowing for their ancient wisdom and grounded guidance to be brought forth for all of us living on Earth to truly embrace, to utilize, so we can live an aligned life on our path and purpose. Many of you may remember that Ask the Druids was something I had done a while ago, and it allowed for others to come on and ask me questions. And so, because I've started now allowing subscribers and followers to submit questions that they would like me to channel on, we're just going to take the name from that other show I did and rename this Ask the Druids, because in thinking about it and talking with the Druids, it's a very similar premise. We're just doing it in a slightly different way. But I think that this has or what I feel is that this has a greater impact on everyone because it's not just one person asking questions. It is about everyone being able to submit different questions in, and then we can allow for more of that broader expanse as well. So the question that was submitted today was truly about generational trauma. What is generational trauma? How do we carry it? Why do some carry it and others do not carry it in our family line? And how can we either shift it and work through it or allow for it not to affect our lives so much? So let's see what the Druids have to say about it. You ask about generational trauma. You understand the concept from a very linear 3D mindset of that when trauma happens and there's an energy associated with this, and we will use the example of abandonment for example. So when abandonment happens to someone, say for example, a child's parents both pass and they are abandoned, they are left there. And yes, they may have family, they may have others, but they have that energy of abandonment. And that may be an energy that then translates into the next generation. So, say for instance, they have a child, and that same thing happens. They pass very young. And so that child is then goes through that same experience. So you're creating this pattern and this energy of this trauma that's showing up. And then perhaps in the next generation, say the parents do not pass, but perhaps they're finding abandonment in that they're left home alone a lot. Perhaps their parents travel. Perhaps they are living with another relative. But there's always this energy of I'm being left, that abandonment energy. And so, as this energy and many others travel down the generational lines, when you look at the DNA and the energy that is passed in the physical sense, so this is about that energy that's passing in the physical sense. When you find that passes and that moves, then you find that someone will then feel that consistent. And so they're always feeling that line being abandoned. Say perhaps a friend from their childhood moves to another place. Well, they feel that abandonment. And it's like, well, it wasn't truly an abandonment. Perhaps you still talk, you still phone, you still write to each other, but it's that energy that's coming down. It is that expectation of having that because it has created a pattern that is passed down from the mother and the father to the baby, and then it has continued to pass. And so it is about deciding when have you had enough of the trauma? When are you going to break the pattern? When are you going to allow for this to reshift for you so you don't have to carry this, so you don't have to hold all of it? So you can decide, you know what, I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to adjust in a different way. And so this is how you need to look at these things of that, yes, there is generational trauma and energies and patterns that happen. But are you the one that is going to end it? Are you the one that is not going to perpetuate this feeling of abandonment? Are you the one that is going to say, you know what, I understand why perhaps that happened in that line, but this is not mine to hold? And are you willing to give it back to your ancestors? Are you willing to say, this is yours to hold? In allowing for you to see all of them in front of you and hand that back, saying, you can take this. Whatever is yours, you can take and work through. Because in your life, you are carrying it for them, but it may not be yours. And it is about understanding what is yours and what is not. And when you can pass that on, it gives you that freeness. It gives you this freeness, this sense of that this weight on your shoulders has been lifted off. You are giving it back elsewhere. You are allowing for someone else to take it on. You are allowing for this change and this newness for you to say, ah, that is not mine. And that allows for you then to move forward without this belief that you have abandonment, that people abandon you, that they leave you, and you say, oh, well, my friend just moved, like his parents moved, so it made sense. Or they took a new job elsewhere. And so you say, ah, well, that's why he moved. Like, look at this great opportunity. They did not abandon me, they decided to move and decided to take this opportunity. And so this is how you allow for this to come through. And so you have the physical generational trauma that passes from ancestor on down the line. And sometimes it can be adjusted or changed, or someone may do some of the work or none of the work. So when you give it back, or if you do the work, you may say, okay, I'm going to clear this energy of abandonment. I'm going to clear it up the line, back, and into the line forward. Because you know that lifetimes are not linear, they are all sequential. So when you clear it, it clears for those into your consideration of future as well. And so when you do that, it truly allows for you to have this sense of that is done and cleared. And so by doing so, when you do work through that energy, when you sit with it, when you work through it through meditation, through ritual, through belief, through other ways in which you can clear energy, you can do that for those ancestors. But many times it is about handing it back. So those are two options you can have. And so this works very well for, we will call it physical DNA trauma, physical generational trauma. Now, there's also a sense of soul DNA and soul trauma from your soul line. And this is where you can bring in many things that are from your past lives. But it also comes in through your soul family because there are things that your soul family is working on at one time that truly come in and need to learn how to shift. That you truly need to come in and say, I'm going to rework this. I'm going to readjust this. I'm going to make this part of what I need to do. And soul trauma and energy, we will say, is not as easier to give back. It is not like doing something and saying to your ancestors, I give this back to you. I give this to those souls that brought this, created this, and I'm giving it back to them. This is about how can you connect in and say, okay, I'm going to work through this. And so, yes, as a soul, you are considered to have some generational trauma. And many people will call it past life trauma. Others will call it many other different things. But it is energies and it is things that you bring in. You think of when you are having a moment where you were triggered in something, or a belief, or a program. Say, for instance, someone says to you, well, your house is very dirty. And you think, I thought my house was clean. What's wrong with it? And then you get very mad and you get very upset because someone said your house was dirty. And then all of a sudden you go into this mode of you just clean, clean, clean nonstop. And you think, why am I doing this? Well, is there an aspect of yourself? Is there some time when you perhaps were the person who cleaned the home? Were you the housekeeper of a home for someone else? And they said to you that it was not clean enough. Well, when you do that, then that is triggering that moment. That moment is triggered where you go, ah, what do I need to do? So you are second guessing yourself because that energy that you were, or that aspect of yourself, is coming forward and going, but we need to do it a different way. We need to do it, we need to change. We need to make sure it's perfect. We need to do it. And so it's about letting that energy go, looking at why did they come forward? And usually they come forward to protect you, to support you, to assist you on your path. And so that is part of this. It is part of that understanding that this shifting and this moving is really allowing for you to have a sense that what are the aspects I need? And when you get triggered like that, when you get very upset, when there's something that happens, more times than not, it is an energy that is showing you so that you can either work through it, which happens much of the time from a soul energy standpoint, or hand it back, as happens many times in generational trauma and generational energies. And that is what this is, truly having an understanding of where they're coming from and what do you hold and what do you allow. Because no matter where this comes from, it is affecting you in your path and purpose. It's affecting you in how you're doing things, how you're changing, how you're adjusting, how you're shifting in life. And the more that you can allow for you to truly live as this energy, as this soul inhabiting this human form, experiencing life in a way that only you can, finding joy, excitement, experiencing emotions, but allowing for you to move on here, allowing for you to shift and live your path. And yes, there may be ups and downs, and you might have a hard day, and you might have an experience that maybe was a little more difficult. But when you can see it as a energy, I am expanding, I am ascending, I am moving forward on my path. All of those things truly mean so much. They mean that you are connected. They mean that are allowing for you to have these moments. And so some of these energies are just in some ways holding you back. Now, this does not mean you have to overanalyze every single thing that happens in your life. It is truly about recognizing and understanding that there are times when you need to make other shifts, when you need to stop working on the continued energy. We will use the example of abandonment. And it's showing in different ways. It's showing by your friends leaving. It's showing by a friend not speaking to you anymore. It might be shown as that someone forgets to deliver your groceries, or that they forget your birthday, or they're late to going to a movie with you. It can show up in many, many different ways. And you notice that every time you get upset or you're mad or you feel, well, what's going on? And you try to shift and change and come into all of these. But it may be that abandonment did not stem from you. And so you are holding it. You are holding it perhaps for your family. And perhaps you've worked through some. Perhaps you have worked through none. And you say, but this didn't stem from me. When I look at the root of this, when I go into that deep part of myself, I don't see where was the seed planted? What lifetime? Who was I? What was the experience? And you go, I don't ever get to that seed. And then when you look at your family lineage, you go, is this anyone else's? And you feel that pull of that, this ancestor said, well, that could some be mine. Another one said, well, that might be mine. And so you're saying, okay, well, then let's pass this back to you and let your souls and the beings that each of you were truly work through that, shift that, because that will allow for you to then release that, allow for you to focus more on who you are. Now, it can be very positive for you to allow for generational trauma, to heal that for yourself and for other family members. It can be very positive. And there are people that do come to Earth and say, I'm going to clear this for my family. And then that will allow for us to shift who we are. It will allow for us to be a little more free, to go other ways, to truly allow for things to be different. But that is truly up to you. And that when people are come in with that path and purpose, that is the energy, and they know this is what I need to clear. And many times they don't recognize it as generational trauma. They just know I'm going to clear this and I'm going to move on. Sometimes they do. But if that is you, there are those that will get caught up in continuing to clear the trauma that is there. Because they say, well, I need to do this. I said I would do it, and perhaps you said you would do one, but then you continue to pull more and more out. And so what's happening is, yes, you are clearing it, but are you clearing it for all? Are you clearing it for you? And does clearing it for all really mean that they're going to re-experience that again because they needed to have that sense of, yes, I'm going to shift this? Are you becoming the martyr? Are you saying, well, I will do it again. I will do it again? Because many times that may not be the case. So in a way, we are contradicting what we are saying. We are saying, hand it back. We are saying, clear it. We are saying, don't clear it. We are saying all of these different things. But it truly comes into you having to recognize what is your role in this? What is your role in this space of these energies? Because perhaps it is about you experiencing it and saying, not mine, no, thank you. Perhaps it is you clearing it. Perhaps it is you handing it back. Or perhaps it is you just sitting in it and feeling in it and going, okay, I came into this family. I chose this family with all of their worry, with all of their worry about everything. So I will sit with understanding that they have much, much to worry about. But I'm going to sit back a little bit farther from it. Or maybe you just jump in and go, okay, well, I'm going to be part of it. But it is your choice in how this operates because it is about you connecting in with your soul and saying, what is it that we need today? What is it that we want to do? And this is how you allow for yourself to connect in. Because when you clear it or don't, or allow for you to not be affected by the energy, it gives your soul and your energy a sense of freedom, a sense of expansiveness. That weight of that has been lifted. You were saying, there we go. I'm a little lighter today because I didn't need to work through that. I didn't have to work through that, nor did I want to work through that. So for each of you, it is about connecting in with where that is. And when you understand where it comes from, whether it's from your own lifetimes through the soul's trauma or through physical DNA of your ancestors, when you understand where it came from and why it's there, it allows for you to have a sense of that we know more. It allows for you to have a sense that you can understand perhaps why others in your family are the way they are. And it is not to pass judgment and opinion, but it is just to go, that's perhaps why they get concerned anytime someone's late. They feel abandoned. Their abandonment comes through in that way. Or you may say, oh, that's why they're always worried and their mind keeps spinning. And this is something that's happened for so long because they were living perhaps in the depression. And the worry was, will we have enough food to eat tonight? So all of these things are coming through. All of these things allow for you to have a better understanding of yourself and others. And so when you can have that understanding, it allows for you to know exactly where you are, what you're moving into, and how you're allowing for yourself to truly find that alignment of peace and love. For when you do that, and when you find that, you will then come to the sense, the understanding, and the recognition that life is meant to be happy. Yes, there are experiences. Yes, there are things you need to do. Yes, there are energies you need to clear. But take on what is yours. Do what you need to. Support others on their path. So if say your sibling wants to deal with the family trauma, say, we've got this. But also recognize, are they taking on too much? Should they not take on so much and say, hey, don't worry about it. Hand it back. Or I'll help you with it. Let's work together to clear some of this. Whatever that may be. But remember, knowledge is power. When the conscious mind can understand something, it truly allows for the soul to go, oh, good, now I have the mind on my side. And the mind and the logical brain are so very important to so many different things because they give us a new perspective. They give us a new way of looking at things that can make you go, ah, This is what I'm thinking. This is where I'm at. And when you do that and you allow for that, it truly brings forth a sense of oneness, a sense of peace, and it allows for each of us to have the ability to say that, yes, I am ready for the next steps. I am ready for my path, my purpose, and my alignment to life. For when that happens, for when that comes through, it brings forth a sense of knowingness. It brings forth a sense of, I've got this. And that is when so much can come forth for each of you. And when you open up to your true authentic self, without all of the extra gunk, we will say, all the extra things that you're carting around, because you're saying, here I am. I am open, I am ready, and I am willing to walk this path, this life, and this earth, because the expansion I can have here, the enjoyment, the fun, the excitement that I can experience on earth, as I know not many souls have this experience. They either aren't ready, they're not willing, or they say, I just want to watch from the sidelines. But enjoy it, embrace it, and know that you can get through what's ever there. But don't let the things of the past bog you down. Allow for yourself to embrace where you are, where you came from, and where you're going in the future. There's so much they brought forward, and I hope each of you can understand where maybe some of the energies in your life are coming from. Where are they stemming from? Is it from generational trauma? Is it from soul trauma? Is it past life? Where is this stemming from? Because when you can find that realization and work through it, hand it back, shift it, or just recognize it, it will allow for you to have a much more open life. So if you have questions about how to do this, how to shift some of this rituals or processes you can use for that, please let me know. I'm more than happy to share any additional resources I can with you. But walk each day as your own, as your first day and as your last day, knowing that there is so much more out there for you. And with that, have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time on Ask the Druids.